I know what you guys are thinking. I screwed up more parts. You're wrong. Alright guys, I didn't screw up more parts on the airplane. What I did do was I added another airplane to my fleet. Now, let me start from the beginning. This cruiser behind me is going on 4 years of building right now, and I live on an air park, and every day I watch airplanes come in here and fly, and my neighbors go fly, and I just want to go flying. So for the last 6 months or so, I've been looking at airplanes online, and I've been looking at Luscombes and Cessna 140s, airplanes like that I thought might be nice to go up and just kind of putt around in. They're relatively affordable, and I thought it might be fun to have until I have the cruiser flying. The whole problem with buying an airplane like that, in my mind, is that once my cruiser is done, then I've got to sell this airplane. So if I bought a Luscombe, let's say now, and a year from now my cruiser is flying, well, in a year from now I have to go through the process of trying to sell the Luscombe. It's not going to have ADS-B. I just didn't want to do that. Alright, so I knew I wanted to buy an airplane, but I didn't want to buy an airplane that I would have to sell in a year from now. So I thought the best thing to do is buy an airplane that complements my Zenith. And what I mean is it has a different mission than the Zenith. The Zenith is a slow airplane. It's made for going up and putting around locally, but I want to do some flying up into northern Michigan. I want to go back to Pennsylvania to visit family. I just want an airplane I can do some actual traveling in. So what did I buy? I bought a 1962 Mooney M20C. Now this airplane is nice. I've always liked Mooneys. I've always wanted a Mooney. The problem is when you're looking at Mooneys sort of in my price range, they all look terrible. They have old faded paint, they have terrible interiors, terrible panels. There's just not much nice about them. Well, I think I kind of found the diamond in the rough. Mine is, like I said, it's a 62. It's been repainted. It has a, well, I was gonna say newer interior. Same with the paint. The paint and interior are about 20 or 24 years old, I think, but it's amazing how nice they still look. The interior looks a little dated, but it's still pretty nice. The panel is fairly nice on this airplane. It does need a little bit of upgrading, and I'll tell you in a minute what I want to do to the panel. But let's take a look at the new Mooney. So that's a quick look at my new Mooney. Let me tell you just a little bit about this particular airplane. So first of all, this airplane has a couple of upgrades. It has the one-piece front windshield, which is kind of sought after on the Mooneys. All the side windows have been replaced. The fuel tanks have been resealed, which is also kind of a big deal with Mooneys. It has a Hartzell Scimitar prop, which I guess has some advantages. A lot of people with Mooneys want this prop, and I really don't know what the advantages are. Maybe it's quieter or like 1 mile an hour faster or something, I'm not sure. And one of the other things that I really like is they put in a brand new clock timer thing here you can see on the panel. It does a lot more than just act as a clock and a timer. It's got some other functions which are kind of pretty handy, and I was surprised actually how much I used this flying this airplane back from New Orleans to Michigan. I purchased it down by in New Orleans there. So guys, this airplane is actually very, very nice. One of the problems it had though is, like I said, it was painted, I think it was 24 years ago was when the paint was done. And the guy that owned it before me had it in an open hangar. So this hangar had 2 walls and a roof, but the front and back were open. And I think over the years of just having the wind blow through there with little bits of dirt and stuff, the paint looked very nice and very shiny, but if you run your hand over it, it kind of feels like sandpaper. And I've tried waxing it and buffing, and it really didn't improve it much. So what I did was I started wet sanding it. I used 5,000 grit paper and I wet sanded the whole airplane. And then after I had sanded it, I used the 3M buffing polishing system that I've already showed you actually in another video, but I used that on this airplane and it's really nice. Now that the paint is just smooth as glass. It's really nice. Well, one of the other things I want to do was remove these older no step stickers. You can see they're just a little bit dated and a little bit worn. The problem was these things were just hard as heck to get off. I'm not sure what kind of vinyl this is, but man, was it hard to peel off. I did eventually get these peeled off, but it left a nasty residue on the paint. I tried using alcohol to clean it off and that didn't work, so I wound up using 3,000 grit and then 5,000 grit sandpaper. And that took it off, and it was okay because I did this before I buffed and polished the wing. So once I buffed it all out, it came out perfect. I cut out new no step stickers and I placed one on the wing and another one on the flap. I put them right where the other ones were already located. But now it looks real nice with the wing sanded, buffed, and polished and these new stickers on it. It looks just great. I also took the seats out of the airplane to kind of clean them up a little bit. And what I'm doing is I'm putting Armor All on this vinyl. You can see that it's old and it's kind of turned whitish. And that didn't really clean off, so I put layer after layer of Armor All on it to clean them up. And they turned out really nice after that. Next, you can see on the rivets of the airplane from years of waxing, they get this residue around the rivets. And I wanted to remove all that, so I took a wet towel and I went around every single rivet on this stinking airplane and just used my fingernails to get in the little groove that's around the rivets to remove all that old wax and dirt. Now, I wish I would have taken a before picture when I cleaned up this light, but I removed the light and just really cleaned everything. And you can kind of see from the rest of the bottom of the airplane here how dirty and grimy it is. That's what the light looked like. So now that the top is all done, now I'm just kind of working on cleaning up the bottom to get it looking good also. Alright, I don't want to go on forever about this Mooney. Let me just tell you quickly what I plan to do to it to upgrade it. The annual is due next month on this airplane. And while I have it apart, I bought a Garmin GTX 335 transponder, which has ADS-B out. So I have ADS-B in the airplane. For in, I bought a new Stratus 3, which I use with an iPad and ForeFlight. Also, I'm going to buy a JPI EDM 900, which is an engine monitor that completely replaces all of the engine gauges in the airplane. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till Oshkosh because they usually give a discount if you buy it there. So once I do that, I'll take out the right side of the instrument panel and to remove all those engine instruments, and I'll cut out a new panel and paint it the same color, and I'll have it real nice. I'll have a real nice modern panel with the engine analyzer and a new transponder in there. Other than that, eventually I'd like to replace the interior of the airplane. My buddy has a Mooney and he did the whole interior himself. He bought a kit from Airtex, and I think he said he paid, what did he, $3,000 or something like that. So eventually I want to put a new interior in the airplane. The other thing I really want to do, because it drives me nuts, is I want to remove the landing gear on this airplane and strip and repaint all the parts, just because they look pretty bad and I want them to look really, really nice. So other than that, the airplane doesn't need much. My buddy's going to help me. He's an A&P. He's going to help me remove all the flight controls, and I want to clean up all the hinges and replace all the hardware just to make it look good. Other than that, I don't think there's really too much to do to the airplane. It flies great. There's only 920 hours on the engine, so it's only halfway through its life. It has all brand new cylinders. There's only actually 30 hours on the brand new cylinders. Yeah, so other than that, I just plan on using this airplane to travel, and I need to get this Cruzer finished up. So while you're here, let me give you an update on where I'm at on the Cruzer. Okay guys, I admit that I have not worked on this airplane for a little while, but the last things I did do, some of the things, I got this top windshield piece fit, primed and painted. The doors are on the airplane, but I can't rivet the glass to the door frames yet because I am sanding and buffing the glass because they look like shit as provided from Zenith. I have all the door handle parts powder coated red. Here's the door handle over here. I put some grips on the control stick. And you guys have already seen in one of my last videos the fairing for the tail. I took off the logo on the rudder on the right side just because it was a little bit misaligned. So I peeled it off, and I have another one cut out. I just have to put on there yet to finish that up. Let's see, what else have I done on here? I don't think I've done too much. That's about it. Obviously, to fit this Mooney in the hangar, I've taken down part of the paint booth. And to put that back up, all I have to do is put the cable back on the door, and the tarp just slides like a shower curtain. So I can move the airplane out and close up the paint booth. I've got to get these wings painted. I just keep putting it off because I don't feel like sanding these wings down, but these all have to be prepped for paint, which means I have to sand them and scuff them up. And I'm going to hang them by these 4 brackets here. They will hang from that jungle gym I have built in the paint booth, and then I'll paint the wings hanging vertically. You'll notice there's no kit fox in the hangar. No, I didn't sell it. If you go into my garage, I've done some rearranging. So the kit fox is now in the garage, and I can still work on the parts I need to work on for now. Back in the hangar. Once the Cruzer is done, I will put it in this corner facing to the back of the hangar, and then the Mooney, I'll just move over to the left a little bit, and both of these airplanes will fit perfectly in the hangar. And then what I think will happen was that will open up all of this area back here to where I can put the kit fox back in here and continue building that airplane. Well, that's a look at my new airplane. I have slowed down the build a little bit on the Cruzer because I've been working on this Mooney, getting it cleaned up and polished and things like that. Plus I've been working a lot just to pay for the damn thing. But anyway, I am really going to try to get these wings sanded down and painted really soon. I want to get these wings attached to the Cruzer so I can get this paint booth torn down permanently. So stay tuned, subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Oh, and make sure you visit aircraftstickers.com if you want some cool stickers for your airplanes, or aircrafttshirts.com, where I've started making all my designs on t-shirts. So, you know, buy a sticker and a t-shirt because I've got some stuff I need to buy for the Mooney.